Hey folks, this is Kalani. I'm going to be addressing one of the biggest concerns folk have been having with the whole stat squish deal going forward into Warlords of Draenor. So this concern would be, how in the hell do we solo old content if we hit like a wet noodle compared to what we do now? So it's actually a lot easier to solo content now, and I'll get to the few reasons why. So everything before Warlords of Draenor, so any old raid, has had their damage tuned to hit like a wet noodle as well. And I mean really, really wet. I don't think a great deal of monsters exceeded 100 damage in Icecrown 10. It was kind of crazy to see them doing maybe 90s. Then I would heal for 2.2k because that's a passive talent I have as a hunter when my pet is active. So you can see if you have any form of self-sustain, any form of self-healing, you're pretty much never going to die in anything before Cataclysm. Cataclysm is still kind of tricky because there's abilities there that still hurt, but anything which is Wrath of the Lich King or before, everyone should be able to solo incredibly comfortably. Even if you don't have any gear. As long as you're above level 90, I guess. I did Icecrown 10 and Ulduar 25 on my 97 Hunter, and the only things which gave me issues were vehicle encounters, anything which didn't scale the damage. So that's the second part of this. Your damage in anything before Mists of Pandaria, this doesn't count for Mists of Pandaria just yet, although the damage reduction does, but this little buff doesn't. You kind of hit like a truck. You hit a lot harder than what you do on live now. I had 1 million kill commands. I had 3 million kill shots. So you can kind of see how that's a little ludicrous. It means you can 3-shot some bosses, 4-shot a few others, and anything before Wrath of the Lich King just doesn't stand a chance. It's kind of crazy. So what I mentioned before is about vehicles. Vehicles don't seem to scale the same way. Flame Leviathan was still a little iffy on 25-man Ulduar, and the gunship was just tedious and took longer than it should. You can't speed those up anyway, and if you're soloing, you still need to know what you're doing on those fights for the mechanics. But pretty much everything else in Icecrown, in 10-man at least, went down in less than 20 seconds for me as a hunter. I'm not even level 100 on this character, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. There really should be no issue with A, getting any of the achievements in here, and B, clearing it for any transmog runs. So you won't need a group to do Icecrown or Ulduar, which is kind of nice. Ulduar 25 kind of took a bit longer. It took a little bit longer to kill the bosses because of their health. Freya was interesting because you could simply out DPS her healing. She only had 4 million health, so you can imagine how long she lasted. Going forward, there wasn't any mechanic which had any sort of impact. The only one which I could see being an issue is Insanity on Yogg-Saron, simply because it's a guaranteed wipe if you run out of your sanity. But I managed to do Yogg 0 lights with no issues at all, and not even 100. And by no issues, I mean literally everything gets one shot, the brain gets... I don't even believe you could fail at killing the brain in more than one phase. It's really ridiculous what happens to your damage. So I really wouldn't worry about soloing old content. Anything before Mists of Pandaria, you're going to be able to comfortably solo or duo, especially when you get to 100 and start really doing some damage. If things like Dragon Soul are still giving you issues, I'd recommend taking a small group. I wouldn't really feel the need to take a full group, although if you did, pretty much every boss would die in a couple seconds, I think. Kind of crazy. Mists of Pandaria, you probably need a group, but I don't see anything giving you issues there because the damage has been toned down so much. But yeah, soloing old content, I think it's opened up a lot more than what it used to be. It really, really shouldn't give you any issues on classes which couldn't solo before. I don't think that's ever going to be an issue ever again. So, if you're worried about that, please don't be. Go give it a look-see when Warlords finally hits. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.